You with me. I appreciate your time. I know you met with Director Coates today because you said it was important to find out what was said in that conversation with the president and what he heard, what he interpreted it as, whether it was a suggestion or a warning or something else, what the tone was, what the context was. What did you find out?
What I found out, Aaron, is that about 8 hours ago, Schiff and I looked Dan Coates in the eyes and we assured him that there would be no selective leaking of his testimony to us. And I'll be damned if 8 hours later, there aren't 3 different leaks with what he told us. So if anyone is questioning why congressional investigations aren't taken seriously and are viewed as political exercises, you need to look no further than the fact that we looked one of our intelligence officials in the eyes and promised him there would be no selective leaking. And here I am being asked about it, not even 8 hours later.
So, Congressman, who leaked it? Was it Coates? Was it Schiff?
I can tell you.
Was there anyone else in the room
not.
than the 3 of you?
Oh, no, there were 8 people in the room. I can tell you who it was not. It was not me, and I do not believe it was Schiff. He's a former federal prosecutor who knows that leaks undercut the efficacy and integrity of investigations. I can't tell you who it is, but I can tell you this. You're going to have a chilling effect on other witnesses who want to share classified, sensitive information when it makes its way to the headlines before the transcripts even dry.
So what you're saying is it wasn't you. You don't believe it was Schiff. It was Coates or one of the other people in the room. So there's 6 possible people who leaked it.
No. I don't think the man who asked us to promise that we would not leak the information leaked it. There were 8 other people in the room. I don't know who it was. I'm not going to speculate. I'm not going to guess. I can tell you who it wasn't. It wasn't me, and I don't think it was Representative Schiff because I know him and because he joined me in making the pledge to a witness that we would not do the very thing that was done.
So let me ask you on the substance of it. If Director Coates, Director Rogers say the president suggested that they come out publicly and say there was no collusion. We've obviously heard the former FBI Director Jim Comey say, when he was talking about the General Flynn investigation, that he felt that the president's request that he stop that was an order. He took it as such. When you take all of these things together, do you think in any way, Congressman, that it leads to obstruction of justice?
Well, first of all, thank goodness we have a man named Bob Mueller that is going to look into that. Congress does not investigate crime. We're not equipped to do it. We're not very good at it. I have total confidence in Bob Mueller, and I told him that Tuesday night. Now, you gave me 2 hypotheticals, but they're very different. One is asking, one hypothetical is the president asked 2 people, if there is no evidence of collusion, would you say so publicly? That, to me, is tantamount to a defendant or a suspect asking the police, if at the end of your investigation you find nothing, will you say that? That is very different from what Director Comey alleged, which is that he felt pressure to stand down. Those are 2 separate fact patterns, and I'm sure that Bob Mueller will treat them separately.
You today questioned the former Homeland Security Secretary Jay Johnson, yesterday, about whether there was any evidence or collusion between Russia and President Trump or his campaign, right? You asked him about this very issue. Let me play the exchange.
At the time you separated from service in January of 2017, had you seen any evidence that Donald Trump or any member of his campaign colluded, conspired, or coordinated with the Russians or anyone else to infiltrate or impact our voter infrastructure?
Not beyond what has been out there open source, and not beyond anything that I'm sure this committee has already seen and heard before directly from the intelligence community.
Now, the President of the United States, Chairman, took this as an endorsement. He tweeted, former Homeland Security Advisor Jay Johnson is the latest top intelligence official to state there was no grand scheme between Trump and Russia. Jay Johnson tonight actually came back and responded to the president, and I wanted to play that for you.
He spelled my name right. And as we speak, I am sure there are members of the press comparing the tweet to what I actually said yesterday. My testimony speaks for itself.
Comparing the tweet to what he actually said. What he actually said to you is at the time he separated from service in January 2017, obviously about 5 months ago, That's what he said. Do you take this as what the president did, that this is a complete endorsement of his point of view?
Actually, Aaron, what I take it as is that a former washed-up old prosecutor asked an inartful question of Jay Johnson. There are really three subparts here. There's Donald Trump, there is the official campaign, and then there are the folks who may have represented themselves to be part of the campaign. That's usually how I ask the question, in that kind of tripartite level, and then the witness will give an answer to each one of those three parts. It was not intentional, but I asked the question inartfully of Jay Johnson, and when he answered the way he did, it very easily could have been going to the third part of that tranche, which there has been public reporting on, as opposed to the first two. So I would say blame me for a bad question and not Jay Johnson for a vague answer. But
the bottom line is you're not taking it as definitive one way or the other, because it was too broad.
I can't. We are so early on in the investigatory process. We have interviewed less than a tenth of the witnesses that we're going to wind up interviewing. So I would hope that no one was drawing any conclusions from anything. That's what you do at the end of an investigation.